Hey, hey, Gemini Collective. Welcome in. Welcome back. It is Laura, and we are going to do a reading for this powerful new moon solar eclipse in Aries happening at the end of the month on March 29th. And so we are at a very pivotal moment, right? We're closing out the themes connected to the Aries Libra cycle. And so right now, I think we're releasing that shadow element of Libra connected to people pleasing, codependencies, and external validation. And so we get the why in reverse. I want to just mention quickly, we do have the same day as the eclipse, Mercury in retrograde, that is in Aries right now, is going to leave and re-enter into Pisces, and it's going to immediately conjunct Neptune at that final degree of 29 degree. And so we are in a major dissolution of illusion portal is what I want to say. And so all of these energies at play really, I think, are asking you to let go of the why. Why did this have to happen to me? Why did I have to learn this lesson again? I think it's time for you to stop looking back. If we look at the card upright, we do see this woman kind of closing the book or opening the book, but she's questioning, right? She's questioning, why did things have to play out the way that they did? It is a 31 card. And so there is like a 5 of Wands in reverse quality. And so maybe it's time to trust your inner guidance here. Yeah, look at that. Bottom of the deck, truth be told in reversed. And so where do you need to get honest here about a situation that I feel is probably a little bit imbalanced? We see the 14 on the card, and so there is an energy of like temperance in reverse. We do see the mask. And so I don't know if you're still wearing a mask. You are the sign of duality, Gemini, and so maybe there is a lack of surrender here. Maybe there's a lack of trust. Maybe there's a lack of clarity. Truth be told in reverse is saying there's a warning here that something here isn't really adding up. Something here might feel like an illusion of some sort. What I feel is some type of ignition. I don't know. I really just feel like there's a need to really dig deep into your motives or somebody else's motives, somebody's intentions. There's a really hidden dynamic here. There really is, Gemini. I don't know if this is a time of an awakening or you understanding the why behind your own actions and choices and the connections that you choose. But we got to remember everything we do, Gemini, every connection that we form is really driven by some type of underlying motive. Maybe we don't always recognize that motive, right? But I do feel you are being encouraged to ask yourself, why do you engage in certain relationships? Is it out of habit? Is it out of comfort? Is it out of unhealed wounds rather than true alignment here? Because there is some type of mistruth or distorted truth or miscommunication. There's definitely some hidden motives at play that I think are coming to light. And this is about romance, right? If we see on the card, we get the owl. The owl represents intuition. It represents our higher guidance, our spirit guides. And I do feel somebody here is ignoring some type of truth on the heart. And I do feel there's a certain dynamic here that where maybe you're not being true to yourself. Maybe you're not being true to what it is that you really believe on the heart. And so I think there is some type of conflict simmering below the surface. Even if things appear to be okay on the outside, I don't think they are. I don't know if you've got like a pattern or a tendency here to avoid confrontation or to sweep issues under the rug instead of facing them directly. There could be a core wound here connected to communication. I'm pretty sure, Gemini, the same type of message came through the last time I did a reading for you. What I want to say, either it's you or somebody around you that is really lacking transparency. Somebody here is in a pattern of dishonesty. Somebody here is in a pattern of self-deception, wearing a mask in relationships. And you can't have true intimacy until real truth is revealed. And I think this eclipse is going to reveal something either about yourself or somebody you are connected with. And I do think there's this very strong energy of imbalance. Something here, a foundation here has been built on a half-truth. There is a false foundation here. This eclipse, I feel, is calling for a realignment. It's calling for you to understand the whys as to maybe why you lack honesty, why you keep dealing with people that can't be fully emotionally available. But I do think you're going to have to find the courage here to see things very clearly, because I think you are being asked to break a cycle here. You're being asked to face the truth of a situation, to break free from an illusion, to stop engaging in a pattern that I feel isn't really serving you or your highest path or your highest good. And so where have you been settling for half truths? Where have you been holding back from your authentic self? Because I think it's kind of time to drop the mask. It's time to align with your truth. It's time to drop a situation here, whether it's just within yourself or within a relationship. But yeah, we get the Five of Pentacles in reversed to the Four of Cups in reversed. And so there is a deep sense of lack here. There's a deep sense of dissatisfaction. I don't think you have all of the answers, but you got to see things for what they truly are. I think there's this situation here that keeps you spiraling in a sense of abandonment, lack, not knowing your worth. And I do think there is an old cycle here behind all of the repeated experiences, relationship patterns that you keep repeating. So let's go a little bit further with some more tarot pulls and let's see how this energy is all going to tie together. So what needs to come through for Gemini? Oh, we get the Eight of Swords. There you are, all tied up, all trapped up in a negative, repetitive pattern, refusing to look in the mirror, I feel. There's that Six of Cups in reverse. If that doesn't scream patterns, Gemini, I really don't know what does here. So what's the last card out for Gemini? And the Devil reversed. Patterns, patterns, patterns. Negative, repetitive patterns. And it's time to bring balance back into your life. So I don't know if this is a pattern of unequal giving and receiving. With the sixes, I think there is something deeply rooted in childhood here. There is something that could be related to a father wound. We see on the Six of Cups, I'll flip it up right to show you, we see the son and the father energy. And so this could be related to some type of father wound, could be dealing with a Capricorn, doesn't have to be. But I do feel this eclipse energy really is calling you to bring something into balance. And it is connected to a relationship pattern that keeps repeating over and over, Gemini. Gemini, there is a need to see through some type of an illusion here. I don't know if you're trapped in an energy, trapped in a cycle, but let's look at this image. Let's really have a good look at this image. You see a woman, she's blindfolded, she's all tied up, looking in a mirror, right? On the other side, it's like a mirror image here. And she's surrounded by all of these crows all tied up. And she's seeing herself in the mirror in a situation all tied up. And so for me, this is a powerful metaphor for mental entrapment. This is not just a physical prison that you have put yourself in. This is a mental one. This is built around limiting beliefs, fear, deception. And this is definitely tied to the why in reversed and the truth be told in reverse. This is all tying in together. And so some type of truth has been obscured either by self-deception or an external manipulation with somebody that you're dealing with. And it's like you've been conditioned to believe this false narrative about yourself or relationships in general, right? And so I just feel there is a pattern here, I think, of overthinking, leading to self-doubt. This is a huge indication that you need to let go of the past. I don't know if there's a need to detach from nostalgia or constantly looking back. There is a strong message here about childhood wounds and this repeating throughout relationship cycles. And I think maybe you've had a string or a series, you see the string, a string or a series of karmic relationships that just no longer serve your growth anymore at this point. Maybe they have served your growth to show you the need to break free from a toxic trauma bond. The devil is a toxic trauma bond. I don't know if you've been like a puppet on somebody's string here. If somebody just knows how to pull you back in every time you recognize, hey, something here needs to shift, something here needs to move forward. And so I think you really need to ask yourself, are you holding on to a past version of yourself that's no longer aligning with who you're becoming? Or do you keep repeating the same cycle over and over again because it feels familiar, right? The Six of Cups is familiarity. Even if it doesn't feel good, it's like a reminiscent energy connected to a childhood pattern that maybe you saw your parents repeat over and over again. Or maybe are you dealing with a certain person or a relationship, a similar type of relationship that keeps resurfacing, testing you. Hey, have you really learned the lesson here, Gemini? Because this is saying with the devil reversed, this is a powerful moment of liberation. Are you finally seeing the illusion? Are you finally recognizing, hey, I've been giving my power away. I've been allowing somebody to cord to me toxically, and now it's time to release the pattern or the unhealthy attachment or the false narrative. And so what really is keeping you bound here? You really need to ask yourself that. What is keeping you bound here? Because I do think there's going to be a moment of truth. And I think you're going to see things for what they truly are. And you're going to have to make a conscious decision. You're going to have to detach. You're going to have to heal. You're going to have to move forward with clarity. And so the Six of Pentacles, yeah, it's like, here you are, keeping your foot stuck in the wheel. It's like you've been resisting destiny. You've been resisting moving forward. You've been resisting change. And so this is at the core of some type of transformation here. So I think maybe you're learning a lesson in balance, reciprocity, and fairness, right? That's the Six of Pentacles. And maybe learning where you keep yourself stuck by over giving your power away or receiving less than you deserved, or maybe where you have been taken for granted without being given something back in equal return. And so this is a moment of reclaiming your power. This really is a moment of calling back your soul, taking back your soul from all space and all time. The Judgment card is an awakening. It is an energy of saying, hey, I got to stop this. I got to stop going backwards. I got to start to reclaim my power. I can only now move forward and invest in relationships or projects or paths that give back to me as much as I give to them. And so there is a big imbalance here. There is something here that I feel needs to be course corrected, but you also have to be willing to break free because you are seeing the entrapment here. You're looking right at it. So if you're not willing to break free from the old patterns and walk away from the illusions and own your truth, then you're going to keep cycling back into the same negative relationship patterns. Might not be with the same person, but it's going to be the same pattern with a different face. And so where in your life, I think you need to ask yourself too, where have you been wearing a mask, right? We got the mask here. Where have you been wearing a mask? Where do you need to see beyond the masks in order to clear out some type of distorted truth here? Because I think the eclipse energy is calling you to step into a more empowered version of yourself. But you've got to understand, hey, maybe I've been accepting less than I deserve. And that might be a limiting belief connected to childhood here that you're finally going to be ready to release. And so until you start making choices through the energy of truth and empowerment, rather than conditioning, you're going to keep repeating these same cycles. And you might find yourself saying, oh my gosh, how did I get here in this same cycle again? Why is this happening to me? Well, when things keep happening to you, then you are in unconscious cycles. And so when you realize that things happen for you, then you can break the cycle, then you can break free, right? Because the Eight of Swords upright is the Devil card in the lower arcana, and you've got an opportunity here to break free, to break free, to break through, I want to say. And so you don't have to stay bound to the past patterning. You can step into a more balanced, reciprocal way of living, but you do have to choose that. So let's get a closing message here with the Spiritual Journey Oracle cards. And let's see if we can get an advice card for you. Let's see if we can tie this all together with what Spirit really wants you to know. Your higher self. So the ego will seek to keep you stuck in the same cycles over and over again, right? And so maybe you've got to love yourself enough to recognize that the ego doesn't really want you to step into your highest self, right? It doesn't want you to step in to the highest good. And then we get purge and cleanse on the bottom of the deck with letting go. So you do got to release something here. Maybe it is just an energy of control. Very well could be connected to an energy of control. You got to let the universe do its job here. You got to trust. You got to trust, right? And so really, I think all of this with the devil too is saying the ego is seeking to control. The ego wants that validation. The ego wants that certainty about what's on the other side of a decision here. And so I just feel there is a deep, deep ego purge. I want to say, Gemini, a deep, deep ego purge here. And everything that is not aligned with your highest truth, I think, is being purged. And this is basically clearing everything that is no longer going to serve you moving forward. And so I just want to say, like, I hate to say force, but I think this eclipse is forcing you. I think it's forcing you to release the need to control an outcome, the need to hold on to a false narrative, a false identity, the need to stay attached to relationships that just keep reflecting back to you old wounds over and over and over again. And so I think it's time to break free from an old cycle, from an old version of yourself, from past conditioning, from karmic entanglements. Wow, Gemini, this is pretty deep. And so get ready to release what no longer is serving you. There is going to be maybe a sudden ending here. There could be a shift in friendships, a shift in relationships or partnerships. You might even feel a deep urge to withdrawal so you can connect to yourself. But I want to say emotions are going to be heightened. These old wounds are surfacing for healing so you can get yourself untied, untangled from a situation that I think keeps you in a cycle of exhaustion. And so you might be even experiencing some very uncomfortable ascension symptoms as you purge this stagnant energy. But letting go, I want to remind you, Gemini, letting go really isn't a loss. Letting go is a rebirth. It's opening up to a new path. It's allowing the universe to do its job because regardless, it kind of feels like everything is going to fall away anyway to create space for something better. So trust that all of this is divinely guided, Gemini.